One of the things, the things that we have observed, that's relevant to what you just described there, Nicole, is that um, there can be very good returns compared to market in climate solutions and social solutions, right? It's not that there's not returns there. It's just, again, some of the costs are hidden. Some of the benefits that you get from engaging with directly with those people even helps you succeed in ways that you hadn't predicted, right? So, I think when you take this holistic view of kind of engaging people, offering returns, but you're also offering impact, right? Like, so, people could look at your thing and say, well, I'm going to get 8%, but I'm also going to improve green space and improve, water treatment and, other kinds of things, right? So what we see is that individual people are doing those kind of like trade-offs in their head, right? Like that's, in front of them is saying, okay, I want that thing to exist. I want that project to work and to happen. If I get my money back and a return on top of that, then awesome. And it is possible to have all of that. And it's not that you need to be doing it as a charity or as a donation. And I think we're beginning to see with crowdfunding a lot more people coming in. The thing that I say a lot, and I know Devon's heard this before, is that I believe the biggest impact investing fund in the world is all of us, right? People are motivated by the things that they care about. As you described, Greg, more people are being switched on to understanding this. They're looking for things to do. I think a lot of reason why a lot of people are disconnected is they just don't know what to do about it. You can put in front of people opportunities for them to take action, which can include investment. I think people are up for it, and we've seen that kind of crowdsourced funding of many different things begin to take off in all different ways, and the technology obviously enabling us to do that with platforms, etc. But I think what's interesting to me, and it'll be interesting on your journey, Nicole, is just how many climate focused enterprises who start small, use crowdfunding. It proves it, and it kind of proves the case. And then you do need larger tranches of capital later, where you then need to find the VCs and family offices that you're talking about, Greg, to then come in as well, right? As you begin to get bigger and bigger. And so, I think
I might push back on the needing VC.
Please go ahead.
I
I'm not
don't
saying VC, I'm saying family offices. Anyway, sorry, go ahead.
I don't necessarily think that private equity is necessary, which is why having access to debt by having crowdfunded investment is so critical, because debt's often not available as a financial tool for emerging markets in the climate space to founders that have startups. So these things can be strikes against you that can be level set with crowdfunding. And
obviously, I agree. I run a debt platform. I guess what I've seen many of our enterprises do is they've become more sophisticated in using debt and equity to do different jobs as they get bigger, right? I think debt is definitely part of it. I wouldn't do what I do if I didn't agree with you. And certainly emerging markets, and the mind share that VC occupies is distorting the way capital markets work. Greg, you mentioned at your unconference that you had this panel. What was the kinds of things that they were talking about in terms of, investing for a better future?
Well, we had that discussion across several panels, but the one that we focused on was conscious investing. We talked about the need to invest what we used to call smart money, right? We know that as far back as COP26, that former Mayor Bloomberg, former mayor of New York City, and Mark Carney, who's now running Canada and is the biggest guy pushing back on Trump and his crazy ideas, got together knowing that at COP26 that the nations were going to show up again, even though they signed the Paris Agreement in 2015. Going to show up again and say, hey, you know what? We didn't do what we said we were going to do again this year, as we did last year and the year before and the year before. And so they talked to about 415 of their friends and convened them in a group called the Glasgow Financial Alliance for Net Zero. These are the smartest money managers in the world, managing sovereign wealth and big money, committed $130 trillion, trillion with a T, to solve climate challenges. Why would they do that? They know that making money in the short term, well, we destroy the only planet we can live on, is folly, right?
Mm.
So the smart money is already doing that. In her great book called "What If We Get It Right," I recommend that to everybody. The author, Ayanna Johnson, talks about how the returns from investments in renewable power from about 2011 to 2020, 7 times higher than investments in fossil fuels. So here again, the world is shifting to renewable sources of energy. This is the place to invest. McKinsey says this is about a $12 trillion opportunity. So if you want to make cash, this is the way to go. We just need to catalyze the people who are making that kind of money and move that money faster into entrepreneurs and proven successful ideas. And we want to do that here at Community 3.0X. We want to do that using AI so we can make those investments behind the scenes 24/7.